If you see my previous video, the video I dropped off, that I said, I talked about the response that Dele Farutimi gave to Wole Soyinka. That was from 2023. After the election was all done and the result was announced. So there are things that Wole Soyinka said which Dele Farutimi responded to him. So I put out the video because what the response he gave to Wole Soyinka still address what Wole Soyinka recently said on the interview that is going viral on the internet. So if you watch the previous video, I said that there are things I observed and I noticed on that interview that I would like to talk that I will be talking about on my next video, which is this video. So what did I observe from that interview? If you watch the interview, you see they talked about Jonathan and Buhari. They talked about Peter Obi, and according to Wole Soyinka, Peter Obi is encouraging the obedient to be rascals, to insult people, to bully people, and all of that. So these are the places I'll be drawing my observation from. No, the video was a very long one because what is buzzing online is mainly um, what he said about Peter Obi. This is why I'm drawing this by observation from these places. Now, if I will put out the parts that I say I observe things from. So it's not look as though I'm putting words into his mouth. What he didn't say, I'm just putting words into his mouth. Now, if you watch the video, they talked about Goodluck Jonathan and Buhari's government. They talked about the government. Now, this is the clip.
For me, like looking at his two other opponents, they are the not just his opponents, but it's the last two presidents, that of Buhari and that of Jonathan. What was your opinion, sir, on those two last presidential
I'm not going to say anything further about them. Everything which I want to say about the the last presidential election, I've said already.
how about Buhari's tenure and Jonathan's tenure? What would you describe?
Oh, Buhari and
yes, the last two presidents. Yes,
Buhari. This is part of the problem. Buhari, of course, and I'll come to that in a moment. Buhari was a disaster.
You see, they talked about this government. According to him, he said he gave was it 24 hours or so for Buhari to do one for this to to arrest the insecurity in Nigeria or so. So I just want you to know they talked about Jonathan and Buhari's government. Now, if this guy was asking him about Buhari's government and asked him about Jonathan's government, and then subsequently they talked about Peter Obi, why didn't he ask him about Tinubu and Tinubu's government? So you see where my observation is coming from. So why did he leave out the present government? I was talking about the past government. Why didn't he ask Wole Soyinka, okay, since you did this during Jonathan and you said this during Buhari, what are you going to say about this government that is choking or that is strangulating the citizens? What are you going to talk about this government? To me, I see this guy to be a PC supporter and Tinubu supporter, the person that is interviewing Wole Soyinka. You can say whatever you like. That is how I see it and what I like what Wole Soyinka said. If people think or if they think they can stop me from saying the truth as I see it, they should have their heads checked. So if you think you are going to stop me from saying the truth as I see it, maybe you should have your head checked too. This guy, the way I'm seeing it, he is Tinubu and APC supporter, and Wole Soyinka is Tinubu and APC supporter. So that is why this guy skip the not if the watch the whole conversation. They did not mention a word, not even saying a sentence, a word relating to Tinubu and his government. Nothing. What he asked him about Jonathan, asked him about Buhari, and then was talking about Peter Obi. So why didn't he ask him about Tinubu's government? Why? Because they are trying to save their face. Because I believe that if they start talking about Tinubu, people will get to see Wole Soyinka for who he really is. Because of course he said that Tinubu is his friend. He will want to defend his friend. he want to say anything that he will want to say, so he will be able to defend his friend. You know how the economy is. You know that this they are not even doing anything to help the economy. Things are becoming expensive every day, every day. So they refuse talking about it because they don't want to indict themselves. The interview do not want people to see that really Wole Soyinka is supporting Tinubu, and that is why they watch. But that no, since this election ended, I've not actually seen him said anything about Tinubu's government or anything relating to Tinubu. He's not said anything. So why didn't he ask him about Tinubu's government when they talk about Buhari, Jonathan, and then talk about Peter Obi? So Peter Obi is not even holding any political office. So why would they talk about Peter Obi and then leave Tinubu? That is number one. Then number two, he said um, Peter Obi is encouraging and the obedient to be rascals, to bully people and all of that. And he's going to prove it. Let's watch what he said.
It's in the conduct which he encouraged among his followers. I know for a fact, and I can give you an instance which proves that he was in control of those forces.
Now, said he's going to prove it that. Now he said he allowed Peter Obi come to his house. And then from what he talked about, Peter Obi did something with his phone and told him everything will be all right. And then after that, everything was calm, which means that it is Peter Obi that is telling the obedience to do what they are doing. This is how he was going to prove it. But the thing is this, he didn't say anything about what happened in Lagos and in Port Harcourt, which we know very well that it was done by the APC supporters and APC thugs, which is the party he is supporting. Or would I say, which is the Tinubu he is supporting? So why didn't they talk about that? So why didn't that guy ask him, okay, since you believe that it was Peter Obi that is getting this obedience to do what they are doing, what about what happened in Lagos? We saw that the APC supporters, they beat up people, they almost even blinded a woman. They beat people up. A place that was dominated by Igbo, someone was shot there. So what why he was supposed to ask him, okay, all these things has been done, and Tinubu did not say anything, neither did the governor of Lagos State say anything about all these things. We saw MC Oluomo openly threatening the Igbo. So why didn't he ask him, okay, since all these things have been done, what are you going to say about what do you believe that it is Tinubu that is encouraging this, or the APC that is encouraging this that is happening? This is not even the first time that the APC Lagos has been threatening those that are not supporting their party. We are quite aware of what happened 2019 that the Oba of Lagos threatened the Igbo that they'll be thrown into the lagoon if they do not vote for Sanwo-Olu. So it is not new. So why didn't he ask him about this? Ask him if it is Tinubu that is encouraging his supporters to do what they are doing. Number two. Then number three, he said something that he allowed Peter Obi to come to his house. So he will observe him, give him an opening, then use it, which is use what he observed against him.
I want to see him face to face, study him, leave him an opening, and then act on them.
Use what is observed against him. Now, from what I understood from this is he already have it in his mind that Peter Obi, or he already have it in mind that I want Peter Obi to come to my house, so I will find something to indict him with, which means he had Peter Obi in mind and he's looking for something to indict Peter Obi with, to ridicule Peter Obi or to tell the public that the person that Peter Obi is portraying to be is not whom he is. So he's looking for something to indict him with. That is why he said he allowed him come to his house then, observing, giving an open. This is the reason he gave that he said that this is why he believed that Peter Obi is the one encouraging the obedience. So if he have it in mind that he wants to indict Peter Obi, do you think he would say something that is fact or that is true? That's even his comment that Peter Obi did something with his phone which camp everything. I don't even believe that. To me, that is a blatant lie. I don't be because he already have it in his mind that he want to indict Peter Obi. He want to put it out to the public that Peter Obi is not the person that we see him to be. So you already have that in mind. Why Peter Obi is coming to his house? So do you think what he said is true, or he just saying it to indict Peter Obi? So you see why I say this is just a blatant lie. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Because if he had Peter Obi in mind before Peter Obi gets to his house, which means he will look for anything at all to indict Peter Obi. Anything at all. That is why he said he did something with his phone, which is something it's just something that that someone that has something against someone would say. It just typically shows that he has something against Peter Obi. For him to make such a statement, he did something with his phone. That is why I believe that thing he said is a blatant lie. I don't believe it. Someone of his caliber, someone that is being respected by Nigerians, they are not expecting to give something that is, no, should I say this is a flimsy accusation. This is just an accusation, a flimsy accusation that is not factual, that is not something that someone should believe on. That is another one. Another thing, he said Peter Obi did not win this thing.
So I just left it. And of course, when I got to Stellenbosch and I was asked a question about this, I repeated exactly what had given, quote unquote, given offense. Only this time I made it even stronger. I said Peter Obi did not win this thing.
Peter Obi did not win the thing, which is the election. He did not want to say election. So people will not know that he's talking about the election. Peter Obi did not. So he went to somewhere, they asked him, he said Peter Obi did not win this thing. Now, why didn't this guy ask him about the processes of the election, what INEC did, how they announced the result and all of that? If Peter Obi truly did not win, why didn't he ask him about all of these things? So now you be okay, Peter Obi did not win, we believe that now, but what do you have to say about what INEC did? INEC shuts down the servers. Result that was uploaded to IRF were mutilated. We saw as the result sheet that was snapped was mutilated, cancelled. We saw cancelled results. We saw so many things on IRF. Why didn't he ask him about all of these things? But rather, anything that will bring Tinubu into the matter and APC into their conversation, they did what? They did not even say. Like I said, listen to the whole interview. They did not say one word that is relating to Tinubu and APC. One word. That is why I believe that the guy himself is an APC supporter and Tinubu supporter. Maybe he's not APC supporter, but he is Tinubu supporter. Just like the obedient are not Labour Party uh, supporters. They are just Peter Obi supporter. That is just it. Maybe he's Tinubu. Why? I don't believe that Wole Soyinka is an APC supporter. He is Tinubu supporter. So they refuse to say anything that is relating to Tinubu and APC, that is relating to his government. They just didn't say, because if they start talking about it, it will open, like they say, if breeze blow, power yash go. It will that thing that Wole Soyinka is maybe hiding from us not to see. Maybe it will open it, because Tinubu has come into the market. Because if you refuse to talk about the government and talk about Tinubu, we will know that he is seeing what is happening and is refusing to talk about it. Now, talking about the election, you can't tell me that Wole Soyinka did not follow this election. He followed it. You can't tell me that he did not follow the election. He knows everything that happened. He follows the election. So why didn't he ask him about the election? Why didn't they talk about it? And another thing is this, like I said, there's something Dele Farotimi said, that they lied to Wole Soyinka, those his friend and those that is around him, they lied to him. To me, I don't believe that. Then nobody lied to Wole Soyinka. Nobody lied to him. Nobody is telling him anything that is there. Wole Soyinka, his mind is very sound. If his mind was like that of Tinubu, maybe I believe that he was lied to, but his mind is very sound. He is saying the things that is happening in Nigeria. There is something the guy was talking about. There is something the guy was talking about. Was it about Russia or Ukraine? He is aware. So if he is aware something that is not happening in Nigeria, so he can't tell me that he's not aware is about something that is happening in Nigeria. Nobody is lying to him. He follows the election and he is refusing to talk about the election. The only thing he's talking about that Peter Obi did not win, Tinubu won. That's the only thing he's talking about. So nobody is lying. I don't. This one you said, I do not agree with you on this aspect. Wole Soyinka knows what he is doing. He knows what he is saying. Nobody is lying to him. He's only trying to defend his friend. So that is why since this election ended, he has not said, nobody has heard him said anything concerning this government or Tinubu. No, he has not said anything. And the APCs, the people that are supporting Tinubu, they are always running away from talking about Tinubu in public spaces, or talking about the government in public spaces, or with someone that is not an APC or Tinubu supporter, because they will have nothing to defend this government with. That is why this man is not talking about it, or they are not bringing up these things where he is. And he's not. I don't think he's going to talk about it. Maybe he will when he say that the pressure is much. Maybe he will talk about it. So nobody is lying to him. He knows what he's talking about, and he knows what he is doing.